I got there, I said to my ex-wife, where have I been my whole life? Because to me, it was like paradise. I know right away. It's like with Sophie, I asked her to marry me the night I met her. And now we're married, wow, almost, 31 and a half years. Okay, this I call Chagall pigs, because it looks like the pigs are flying in the air in the background. At that time, if you want to know how to slaughter a pig and what you have to do, I knew every step from just being here. That's the crazy man. Now don't forget, when I took all these pictures, I'm alone. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I only started working with an assistant, about 10, 12 years ago, something like that. I was always alone, and I used to say that, all these guys like, I don't want to mention names, but, they take safe pictures because they're always with fixes and everything. I use fixes now if I can, but my pictures wasn't safe. I mean, it was safe to me, but, you never knew what was going to happen. I was in the worst areas. I have money in my pocket, I have cameras, I have car keys, But I felt confident and I felt good, and I read situations, so to me it didn't seem dangerous, and it wasn't. Self-explanatory what's going on here. The rope, the hood, the looming figure in the rear. The first day I was in Haiti, the Shoeshine boys. I also believe when you go to a place, you should start photographing right away. Don't wait. At that time, I was into putting things in the foreground and playing off it. As your career goes on and you continue photographing, you have different ways that you photograph. You attack the street. It's like, that's why now my pictures are completely different, because you can't do the same picture 40 years in a row. A lot of photographers do that, and it's a mistake, because the pictures aren't going to be as good. You don't have the same passion. You've seen that, you've done that. The haircut. That's in City Soleil, where it's a little bit of a tough area. This is a Sunday morning. 2 dogs stretching. The guy has a bottle of soda pop. It's like he's lifting the curtain up to show the play. This is what Haiti is. It should be a dream, but it's a nightmare for many people. Poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. These are the tap-taps that take people in and out of Port-au-Prince. And the original inhabitants of Port-au-Prince of Haiti were the Arawak Indians. Look how beautiful his face is. Wow, it must be 90 degrees. Look at the hat he's wearing. I call that, again, even if it's on Best Street. I mean, I don't think I can do a better picture in the Caribbean of people in the street. And all because of this. And after the earthquake there, the building was no longer there. And I said, wow, that's a shame. Look at that. But you see, I did my homework here. This was during the Mardi Gras, okay? And as I'm going back to a place, I look at the pictures that I did, and I try to see what I want to do in the next trip, okay? So in this trip, I decided I'm going to hang by this corner, because a lot of people stand there and watch the parade. And that's how I got this picture. But most of the other pictures were crowds up close, 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 people going back, but this is much better than the other pictures. So, I mean, there's homework involved. It's not loose cannon. This picture, wow, I discovered this picture when the new book just came out. It's called Haiti by EXB Press in France. And this is a surprise for me. I really like this picture. But to me, it doesn't say Haiti, it says South Africa. I mean, I don't know why, it just looks like a South African picture to me. And what I like about it, it's very mysterious. What, is this guy dead? Is he taking a nap? The guy's jumping over him. Are they playing a game? I mean, look at the coat that the homeless, I assume the guy's homeless kid is wearing. It's about 18 sizes too big for him. There's a lot of information in the pictures. But again, this is a perfect example of you make up your own story. This is at the cemetery, a funeral procession. And you see the soccer stadium lights in the background. The yell that I like very much, one of my favorite pictures. Look at the strength of the hand. It's like playing a guitar. Because what happens in Haiti, I don't know if it's the Catholics or the Protestants, but they build themselves up to a feverish pitch and they start yelling like cackling chickens, at the cemetery, at the funeral. And that's what she was doing, and then they faint. So they're holding her up so she doesn't faint. It's a very strong picture. There's another strong one. Here we go. See? Cut off. It's not formed perfectly, but yet it's perfect. Because this cut off emphasizes that. And I was lucky enough to have that shadow on his eye. That makes it look like it's almost he's in prison. And if he's in prison, what the fuck is that girl doing back there? You know what I mean? It's, you don't know what's going on. So if you like the picture, there are many questions that you could ask. Haiti went back after the earthquake, but I didn't go back for 3 weeks because I had to have a double hernia operation and I didn't want to get stuck there. I was really in pain. And of course, when I went back, I hadn't had the operation yet, but things were a little more stable. This is living in the tents. My wife feels that this girl had something happened to her very bad that night before. And supposedly, people did do things like that there. That's an interesting story. This picture, this guy's totally out of his mind. And it reminds me of the Gene Smith picture of the crazy people in Haiti that he took in the 50s or something. And he wouldn't say a word, he didn't talk. And I saw him at night sitting in front of the president's palace. So I was taking pictures of him with the 28, and I was quite close. And all of a sudden, he screamed at me. Like, I jumped like 3 feet, I was 2 feet. I mean, he screamed. And my assistant said to me, you won. I said, first of all, it's not a contest. It's not about winning or losing. I said, I didn't win. He got annoyed. It's not over yet. And of course, the next day, I fell into sewer water and I cut my leg pretty badly. So, you do things sometimes that, This I like. This is after the funeral. That's one I really like. There's at the tap-taps. These boys are trying to get people to take the tap-tap, and they get a little money from the driver, and it almost doesn't matter where the person's going. Like if the person wants to go north and the tap-tap's going south, they're going to try and convince the person to take that tap-tap. And it's a tough place to photograph. And there are other pictures in the book that you'll see that, the looks I got.